Hi and welcome. I'm Pachi, and today I'm here to talk to you about what is DevRel. You might have if you were on Twitter or LinkedIn, you might have been hearing about DevRel a lot. I'm not sure what it is. Now we know that it's related to dev, and you probably a programmer, so we're curious. So today I'm going to tell you what is DevRel, how that fits in the developer community, and maybe if you would like to do that as a career. So I'm Pachi. People know me as Pachi Codes all over the web. I work as a DevRel engineer in Relic. I am a streamer and a co-founder of Feministech, that's a Brazilian community of women and non-binary people that create tech content. I am Sean's mom. Sean's that pretty black cat in the picture that he's actually just arrived in Brazil, and I am an anxious mom today. And I am a community lover. Community is how I started in programming and DevRel. And really, the communities that I'm part of, they are what make me wake up and live bed every morning. So the agenda for today, I'm going to cover what is DevRel, how did I find out about it, how did I got in DevRel, what people in DevRel do, how does what our task consists of. And cool, if you like that, I'm going to tell you, give you some tips on how you can get started in DevRel. So first, what is DevRel? In short, DevRel is an area within technology that we focus on the relationship, developer relations, between the tech community and the company we work for, or the service we offer. There are like two main types of DevRel. There are people that work external. For example, I work in a Relic, and one of the things on my job is to let people know that New Relic exists. But there's another focus of DevRel that works with the developers inside the company to keep retention, to make sure that they are happy. And I drink lots of water, so excuse me. I love the quote by Mary Tangveld, that she's one of the biggest names in DevRel. She says that DevRel is a bridge between the community and the company you work for. For the community, I represent the company, and for the company, I represent the community. So we are always in between. But in the end of the day, if you have to, you need to be biased. But if you need to choose a side, you're going to be in the developer side. Okay. Angie Jones, she said in an article that being in DevRel is like the company sponsors me to serve the community. And I really like that because we do lots of community work. So DevRel is a huge umbrella. There are lots of roles into that. You might have here of community manager, developer experience, developer advocate, technical evangelist, technical writer, developer relations engineer, technical community. That's just a few. DevRel is an area, it's kind of tricky because what a technical evangelist does in a company might be exactly the same thing a developer advocate does. And I think what a developer advocate does in a company can be different of what they do in another company. So the names, the nomenclature isn't always clear. It's a bit clearer for a community manager because now you manage a community. But even for community manager, often people mess that up with social media community manager. So anyways, there are other roles who have clear descriptions for them yet, but you can have a feel for now. If you see those things, you say, hey, they are somehow within the umbrella of DevRel. Okay, so there's a survey called State of Developer Relations. I have some results of 2020. I still haven't updated my slides for 2021. But you often hear people say, oh, DevRel is something new, but it is not. The name DevRel is something for the last 5-6 years. But what people in DevRel do or work is as old as the web. Like the first, in my study and research, is the first DevRel team I found out was by Apple in the 90s. So at the same time that the web was born. So you can see that DevRel is as old as the web. In this survey here, you can see that most people in DevRel have been working in this area for 5-7 years. And since there is surveys like 10 years older, you can put 1 year now. But over 5% have been in this area for more than 15 years. That you might think that's not that long, but tech-wise, it is a long, long time. So DevRel is not new. Developer relations is global. And of course, this survey is a little bit because it happens as in English, is run by Hobbs. That's, if I'm not mistaken, they are based in UK. So you always want to have, you're not going to be able to capture everybody. But you can see, like, and of course, US is a big part of it, South America, Africa, Europe. So DevRel is everywhere, especially after COVID, when we got more global, we got used to remote and doing things asynchronous. I would say that, that's probably why you have been hearing more about DevRel, because it just got more clear the need for it, the need for relating, because we couldn't go in office anymore. So, that's what I had to do. And why does a company start a DevRel team? One thing that I had to tell you, a DevRel team is expensive, and it's hard for people in DevRel to have clear metrics because we work with relations. So I cannot get to my boss and say, hey, today I changed the life of 5 developers. No, I cannot do that. So why does a company start a DevRel team? So this is from 2020. So the first thing is driving awareness and adoption. And this can happen in several times. Just awareness. I always joke, I work at Relic. In Relic, we have a platform for software observability. And if you didn't know what Relic was, or that Relic existed 5 seconds ago, now you do. So I just did my job. And you're Relic. So in the big marketing funnel, you weren't part of Relic, and now you are. So maybe, in a year, if your company has to choose a observability platform, and you are between your Relic and option B, and we offer the same service by the same price, you're going to remember this talk and say, hey, Pachi works in Relic, and Pachi is super cool. So, I'm going to choose Relic because humans are emotional. If you don't like me, if you are just talking and don't like me, say, hey, Pachi works there. No. So this is a part of it. The second part is education and support for developers. And education also can come in several forms. For example, the most common form of education here is educating people about our product, with tutorials, with videos, teaching people how to use the product. But right now, this talk I'm giving, I'm educating about DevRel. And for my job, it counts. I am a big advocate for code newbies. And even if I'm teaching people how to code, I technically, that is not directly related to my company because we don't work with teaching people to code, but I'm educating developers, and for my current role, that content is working. So, and for other developer advocates, it can be, they can choose write tutorials about the product, and that's okay. So education and awareness are the biggest things in that role. Of course, engagement is another part of it. We're social. We want people to know about our brand, to interact. So, even if we don't actively posting on social media, we always, in the end of the day, bring some people over. Getting product feedback, and getting feedback as a DevRel is different from getting regular feedback. Just imagine that you use software. And after you use the software, you get those surveys. You remember, hey, can you please answer the survey? And you probably don't want to, but they want to give you a sticker if you do. They want to like stickers. So you do that. So you're like, you don't really, unless that was something that you really like or something that you really didn't like, your answer is probably, going to be really yes, no. But as people in DevRel, we understand you and you're going to have a real conversation with you. So you're more likely to give us honest, unbiased feedback that's going to be useful for us. This graphic is wrong. 1% is our sales. DevRel is not sales. Okay, if people ask you to sell, that's not DevRel. Of course, if somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, Pachi, I want to sign up for the premium, whatever, and pay in Relic," I'm gonna say, "Awesome, let me connect you with somebody in the sales team." I'm not gonna, send people away. But that's not our job. Okay. get code contributions like in open source is big. And lots of companies, they have open source projects from documentation to new products. So getting people to contribute to your code online is also a thing that DevRel do. But like I said, the biggest things are the awareness and the education. So what a person DevRel do? Like, what is that about? Like, we're a regular community, giving feedback, letting people know that we exist. But how do you do that? The first, I divide DevRel into 3 pillars, into 3 stepping stones. That's personal, but I also agree. So the first thing is creating content, and creating content can happen in so many forms. Like right now with this talk, I'm creating content, yay! I love streaming live code on Twitch, blogging, YouTube videos, write tutorials. So any form of content. Community relationship, that's a big thing. If you work in DevRel is short for developer relations. You had to relate to people. Don't be afraid of that if you're an introvert. I am a huge introvert, but the relationships you create here, they're not networking. I always say that's the difference between that and networking. You, in DevRel, our goal is to create authentic relationships. And those relationships are easier to keep if you're an introvert, because they're not exhausting. And last but not least, code. That's the piece of the pillar, the space where we differ from. A lot of people say that DevRel is like programmer marketing. And that's the piece that differs us. Because, for example, my first gig as a DevRel, I was working with Twitter. I would write tweets and engage on Twitter. And if I was a person in marketing, I wouldn't be able to relate with the pain and the jokes. And when somebody say, oh, I'm going to deploy on Friday, I wouldn't find it as funny as I do as a developer. So these are the 3 main things. And depending in your role, you can do much more content created and a little bit of code. That's like my first semester, 2020, was lots of content creating and a little bit of code. Now the company goals kind of shifted a bit. So I'm doing more coding and a little less of that. If you are technical writing, you're going to create a lot of content and probably won't have much time to actually go in the community. If you are a developer advocate that does more public speaking, goes to conferences, probably going to do a lot more of the community piece. So the percentages that you do might vary, but if you're a person working in developer relations, you're going to do a little bit of everything. There's a talk about open more space for non-technical people. And there is some space in DevRel, like for some community managers, for example, to don't be technical, to don't know how to code. But even if you're not a programmer, you need to be able to look at code. You need to be able to know that the difference between Java and JavaScript. That's a big one. So I want to tell you a little bit about my journey. I think that's important. Because DevRel is not a thing, like, oh, I just left college, I want to be a DevRel, or I want to go to college for DevRel. DevRel has a different timeline. So I started to learn to code in October of 2018, a little over 2 years ago. I'm a self-taught programmer, or like I like to say, a community-led programmer. So that was online. And in the next summer, December 2019, I went to this conference in New York called Codeland, where I want to talk about why you should start blogging. So I started blogging. I started blogging on dev.to. It's a great platform. My first blog post had like 20 lines just saying, hey, coding's hard. But I know I started doing that. Then in January, a year ago, no, we're 2022, I'm lost. 2 years ago, I started getting active in communities, mostly on dev.to and tech Twitter. Tech Twitter is just like Twitter, but means that you're being followed by that. And last year I started, no, I'm totally messed up. See, people forgive me when I say last year, I actually mean the other year. I started doing live coding on Twitch, and that's something that I love. That's something that changed my life because I got to know so many people, and I got to know that I like this relationship with people. And in the end of 2020, I found out about DevRel. I got that gig that I told you. And 3 months later, I had my first job. So why do I tell you that? Because you're not going to go straight to DevRel. And as you can see, if you watch my journey, even before I knew what DevRel was, I was already creating content, engaging with community. So my journey kind of naturally, organically was taking me to a place where DevRel would happen. And this is like this should make me happy. You might understand that. I'm a game nerd. So this is from a game called Ragnarok. And I like this example. Like you start as a novice, okay? And as you as a programmer, and DevRel is something around here. You cannot start as DevRel. You're gonna be a novice and you're gonna level up and then you're going to something else. So DevRel, like I say, is not something you're gonna go to college for DevRel. You cannot. You need to have some life experience. Of course, there are roles for juniors. I am in the Relic. I have a junior role. But even that, I had to have experience as a programmer, even if it was just learn to code. Like my friend Danny, he went to the coding bootcamp. So he didn't have like life work experience, but he knew how to code. So you don't have to acquire some skills. You cannot just be at DevRel. Maybe that will change, but that's like the state of DevRel right now. So what do? I personally do public speaking and doing that now, live coding. We have podcasts on Relic. I don't know, I'm a host for that. Lots of writing, engaged with people, and the conferences are slowly coming back, doing conferences. That's what I do. My role is a lot of public facing things, and that is like what my role is. You can find people in DevRel that they do something totally different. But like I say, the 3 pillars will now always be attended. You're gonna write some code at some level, you're gonna interact with the community, and you're gonna create content. And people always ask me, so how is your day-to-day life? And there's no answer for that. Like it's not, if you are a programmer, you probably have your tasks, the tickets, and you have something you had to deliver. And DevRel kind of don't have that. That is like one day of my life. Like I get up, I do my morning stuff, I set down 9 a.m., I plan my day, I see like what calls I had to do, what I had to write. And then at 10 a.m., I used to stream Twitch for 2 hours, then I would jump on team meetings, lunch break, would work some hours on a blog post, work in slides like for this talk, and record a podcast. And it varies a lot. Some days I'll work for 8 hours, some days I'll work like 4 hours. And conference days are like 18 hours work days. So it varies a lot. We do lots of fun stuff. DevRel is fun, yes, but you need to be mindful because burnout is really easy. Because we're doing all these things that seem fun. We're always running around. We're doing things that we enjoy. So sometimes our brain's like, hey, we're having fun, but our body is down, everything's accumulating. So it's really important to have boundaries. And they're gonna make it DevRel 1 or 2 class and add is not in there. And so you hear of that, you think that DevRel is interesting, and you ask yourself, can I be a DevRel person? Oh, just for note, I guess in DevRel person, often you're gonna hear people say, I am DevRel. And that is technically wrong, and some people don't like it, but that's why it's not. No, I'm not gonna criticize you if you say you are into DevRel or that Pachi's the DevRel, but some people don't like it, so that's why I say DevRel person, because DevRel is like the area, it's not the role. So if you're interested, just are you a dev? And it doesn't mean that you have to have years of experience as a developer. I mean, most of roles we ask for that, but my role asked for like I think 5 years of experience, but the manager liked me, so he kind of opened a junior role for me because I didn't have an experience. So you just have to have some experience with coding so you can really relate to developers. We enjoy learning new things, and that is like saying, of course, every programmer has to enjoy learning things, but with DevRel that's even more real because okay, you're a programmer, you're learning Python. You're gonna work with Python, and our code is gonna be Python. As a DevRel, that's not the truth. Like for example, somebody can talk to you and say, hey, I need a blog post about how to write a script, a Discord bot with Python to be delivered in 3 weeks. And I don't know Python, and I did the bot before. And actually, I think about that. And the next month might not be Python, it might be a new tech. So your hours learning, we don't have as much loyalty. Like in my case, we have a big team, like my team has 10 people. So we can kind of specialize. But on the current state of DevRel, there are not many teams this big. So that means that if you are in a smaller team, you have to be really flexible with that. And the last thing is, like, you like to share what you know. And it doesn't really matter how much or what. Is we share, we are educators, we are teachers, and it can be sharing code and stuff, or can be sharing what is DevRel. So we have to be really mindful, because once you get in DevRel, people kind of watch you, they kind of see you as an example. So we had to read, you had to enjoy that, really, not just teach and share because you had to, but you're gonna be a great DevRel and more fulfilled if something that you honestly like, if you really care. I also say that caring is the piece that makes you, if being a DevRel, anybody with the right skill set can be a person DevRel, but if you want to be a great DevRel, caring about the community, about the content, about the people is what makes a difference. So, okay, how do I get started? First thing, find a type of content. And that means maybe you always want to be a YouTuber, so go for that, or you want to be a TikToker, is that a thing? So find a type of content that you like. And when I started last year, I was doing YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I was just do everything, and that burned out really quickly. So just choose one thing. That being said, start blogging. Writing has a lower entrance barrier. You don't have to expose your face, your voice, even your name. If you don't want to share a name, you can have it anonymized. And if you write something and things change, you can go back in it. I super recommend DevRel because they have a great health community there. So just start writing. And last but not least, find your people, find your community. For me, initially, that was Tech Twitter, that was DevRel. Maybe if you're into Python, go to Python Ladies. There are more broad communities like Tech Twitter and more closed, more specific communities like Pi Ladies. Just find your people. You're gonna know you're in the right place. You have the right people around you when you want to give back. When you're in a place where you really belong, when you're really comfortable, you don't want to just absorb for that. You want to share, want to give back somehow. And for me, that's like how I found out that I was to be DevRel. And that being said, I have a GitHub repository with lots of content. It's a GitHub/patchcodes/DevRel. I'm gonna share the link with you all. I have books, newsletters, blog posts, and I just add Twitter lists of DevRel people. So I'm gonna be sharing the resources with you. And I hope you enjoy that. I hope you learn. Thank you so much. I'm Pachi Parra all over the web. Twitter and Twitch is places you can find me more often. And my DMs are open, and I'm gonna be chatting with you all in Slack really soon. So come with the questions, and it'll be lovely to share more with you all. Thank you.